Good morning. It's Tuesday. I'm so glad you are here. You are in the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. I'm Vickie Helm. This is the Coffee Break Show, and it's brought to you by Metadime Digital Network. We are the network of live shows that you can visit daily. We have daily weather that's around the world. We also have Tracy Wilson's Unlock Show, and if you have not experienced Another Perspective with Scott Stevens, you are missing out. You want to enjoy all the shows that are there on the Metadime Digital Network channel. We go live every single day. There's shows out for you, new information. Twitter, welcome aboard. So glad to see you. I am now going to be broadcasting on Twitter, and we're doing YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. We're using StreamYard to do that. Today is an important day, though. Today, I want to talk about something that is familiar as the conversation goes. And what is interesting about today's conversation is that it stems around what we've been talking about. So the Coffee Break Show at around early December of 2019, we did a boatload of research and we talked about those things that are coming up in the world. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so glad you're here, Scott. Hey, Karen, nice to see you is here as well. Thank you for being here. We talked about at those times what was going to happen. We talked about the pandemic and how it was going to roll. We talked about the supply chain shortages. We talked about the inflation. We're talking about those food shortages. If you have been in the Metadime Digital Network, you know that we have podcasts that we do. We talk about this all the time. Yesterday, we saw a lot of something that we've been talking about for 4 or 5 months start to become mainstream, meaning Bloomberg had an article on it. And the article is already inside on the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. And it's talking about the food shortages that are coming that people don't even understand how big they're going to be. And I got to the point where I was thinking, okay, you know what? We've been educating, we've been having this conversation over and over and over and over again. But I got to wondering this morning, what would you do? Now, if you could give somebody 3 pieces of advice, if you could give it to the world, what would you say to the world right now? What 3 pieces of advice about the future? And think about this, because I think the advice of this group is so important. But if you had to give them 3 pieces of advice right now, and you said, these are 3 things I'm going to do that I would suggest you did, what would they be about the future? What are the things about the future that you would say? Today, I want to hear exactly what it is that you think. And we don't need people in our group we want to feel and understand what it is that you think is going to be relevant for the future. And so yes, I want to say this. It snowed a few inches on the mountain last night. Yeah, we saw that this morning. It is. But as we move into this uncertainty, what are 3 things that you want to share with people that you think, yes, I think this is so important? And I know Scott's saying, well, I'm sharing that now on, Another Perspective, or I'm sharing that now already. But then 3 things that you would do or think about right now that are the 3 most important things that you want to give to the world. Like the whole world, not just to our little group, not just to a few people, what would you say to everyone if you could? And I know I like this. This has already come through. And so this is 3 pieces of advice for the world. That will take a moment to ponder. Yes. While you're pondering, I'm going to share I'm going to share what Scott did, because he just did it really fast. And I know that he's had to look at what his 3 things, what would you share to the rest of the world? And if you're brave enough, put your 2 cents in. What would you say to the world right now? There are 3 things that are so important to do for this next wave of the future. What would it be? And I'm going to start off here because I know this is what Scott would do. It's what I'm doing as well. Buy Bitcoin, store food, get rural, and have a big value to pack of chill pills. A big value two pack of chill pills. That's right. You have to get to the point where you're living life more simply. What are 3 things that you would advise people to do? I've been talking about this, and tomorrow we're going to talk about ways to protect your health during this time. If you, it's like, hi, I don't want to go to the doctor, I don't want to go to the hospital right now, great. If you don't want to add a bill or whatever else, we're going to talk to a professional tomorrow who has more than 35 years of being in the industry of wellness and health as an occupational therapist, worked at the #1 rehab hospital in the world. So tomorrow we're going to be doing that. But for right now, what is it that you would say to the world? What are the things that you would say right now that you could say, well, all right, what would be your thing to do? And I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about it, because I know I pulled this on you and you were just like, okay, let's see, what would I do? Well, for me, one of the things that I thought of that were simply important is that the supply chains are going to take time to uplift. It's not going to happen overnight. It might not even happen over 2 years before we get it right. We don't know how long it's going to be to do this. But here's the first thing I thought of. If you need new shoes, and I mean, like, here's my snowshoes, here's my these shoes, I would get some shoes now, because a lot of our shoes are not made here. They were made in China. We have a lot of shoe things, a lot of clothing items. Do you have an extra pair of sweats? Do you have jeans that you need? Are you in need of, a new computer? Well, if you need a new computer, I would get one right now while they're still available. It's those little things that I would talk about. That's the first thing I would do. Hey, Stephen, nice to see yourself. Let's see. I love seeing, let's see right here. #1, he would say to respect yourself, and #2, respect others. And I agree with that. There's a lot of that missing on the planet right now. That's beautiful. Learn all you can about true love. Only use what you need. Ooh, I love that. I love that. I love that. You know what? I want to tell you, back in the day when more people hunted for food versus went to the store and bought the food, you took a hunter safety course. In fact, you can't even get a hunting license without a hunter safety course. And when I took mine, there was a Native American guy who was about 80, 85, and he was the coolest dude ever. And he used to have a test. He said, here's the state required test. Here's my test. They're 2 different tests. And like, his test question would be, how many rabbits can you harvest? And up to 10. And he'd said, how many rabbits should you harvest? Only what you need. And that use only what you need is, to me, paramount to not wasting or hurting or harming the earth. Stephen, I love your answers. These are so important. Respect yourself, respect others. And to me, that's a level of kindness to yourself and a level of kindness to your others. Learn all about true love. That's so important right there. Learn all you can about true love, not just for a person, but true love, full stop. And only use what you need. Oh God, those are beautiful. Thank you. I just love that, Stephen. I love when you drop your wisdom bombs. Want to take this over here. Karen says, #1, become self-sufficient in food production and other services, you and or your tribe. 2 more coming. Okay, she's got 1 down. You want to become more self-sufficient. I think self-reliance in the future is a huge thing. Self-reliance is a huge thing. And in that self-reliance thing, that self-sufficient in food production and other services, you have to identify what those other services are so that you can help others and help your community. I went and told you about things like, okay, I would get new shoes right now while they're still inexpensive and still easy to find, and they fit you, and you can get really good brand names and things like that. And if you need a winter jacket or a summer thing, I might get a few clothing items that are going to last. I mean, they have to last, maybe even up to 3 years before they, because the whole world is going to be fighting for the resources in the world that have shrunk. The resources have shrunk. So while it's available, get it. Let's see what she has here. Heck, you are days ahead of schedule. Well, that's good. Let's see. I like this. I already tried to buy some hiking boots, not all out, but this was March. Now, do you see that? I already tried to buy some hiking boots, nothing, all out, but this was March. These are the things that we have to think about right now. Thank you, Scott. That we needed to hear that. I like this, Donnie, right here. Number 1, self-sustainable energy, wind or solar. Invest in seeds for a garden. Number 2. I haven't heard number 3, but yes, seeds are going to be gold in the future. Our food supply chain is so badly broken that it's not going to be like, oh, we had a bad growing season. Next year we'll be all right and we'll just be a little down food. No, we haven't caught up from last year. We don't have time to catch up from here. We've got food that is just being left to rot because it cannot be picked or produced. It sounds crazy, but we are hurting ourselves globally. You want to invest in seeds, and I would say heirloom organic seeds. And if there's still some right now, and self-sustaining energy. And just remembered, this is the truth of why you want to act right now. I've already tried to buy some hiking boots, nada, all out. They're all out. But this was March. So if you've got that, you're very lucky right now to have them. Let's see. The stock is definitely down. Certain common sizes and styles are definitely down. Yes, that's true. So if you're trying to look for some good shoes, you want that to be there. Stephen, I was going to say learn not to waste, but only use what you need. That's a yes. Yes. We have to slow down. 40% of the food we buy, it goes to waste. And we are very much about not wasting anything in this house. We are definitely doing all of that here. Let's see. Self-reliance means there is no 911 to call for 911 to call for help. Self-reliance means there's no 911 to call for help. Yes, there's a lot of things you can put in place right now. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, they're talking about it again. Yes, because by the time you need it, if you wait, it won't be there. There's a whole bunch of people right now around the world, around the entire United States, and then Europe, and then Australia, and the Asia. Everyone is buying or utilizing and moving towards that self-sufficiency themselves. And as they do, that supply chain is going to drop. And the thing about it is that there is no supply chain behind that supply. There's no supply chain. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, they said that about toilet paper and blah, blah, blah. But if you actually stop and you go to Twitter and you take a look at some of the people in China, you'll see them fighting over food right now. There's zero food, fights in stores, fights for just goods around there. Self-reliance is, what do they say? God bless the child that has his own. God bless the child that has his own. And Scott, I really, 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 and all right, here we go. Third thing. I should have known this right here. Donnie came up with this third thing: self-sustainable energy, wind, solar, or water. Invest in seeds for a garden, build a greenhouse. Now, build a greenhouse, big deal. Right now, you may get the supplies for a greenhouse. Next, you might be trying to figure out how to figure these things out. But what would you say to the world? And this is great advice: self-sustainable energy, wind or solar or water, invest in seeds for a garden, and build a greenhouse. We're going into such uncertain times. Look how chaotic 2020 is. Do we expect 2021 to suddenly turn around and not be as chaotic or as uncertain or as volatile as it is right now? Do we expect that? What if you were so busy trying to make $1 million and had nothing to spend it on? I'm sure you could get a house. That's great. You could buy that McMansion. But what are you going to fill it with? Beds, furniture, kitchen appliances? What are the things you're going to fill it with? Are you going to put a backyard in a garden in the back? Whatever you're going to do, you want to start looking at the things you're going to need right now, because it may be 2 or 3 years before we can develop these things. And as we start to develop these things, it's not going to go fast. It's a decade. The next decade is going to be huge. And it's not just huge because of a pandemic. It's huge because we have AI and robotics, and some of the jobs that are lost right now are not coming back. There are careers and lives that are going to be reinvented. This is the time to reinvent yourself. And it's great if you have a lot of money, but why do you have a lot of money? What do you want? If the thing you want isn't available to buy, then what? There are cars that are not being produced right now because one wire that was made in China can't be made right now. Did you know that in Japan, they're pulling 57 of their biggest companies out of Japan right now? I mean, out of China, and bringing it back to Japan. 57 of the largest companies. And that means car manufacturing is going to slow down. There's going to be some things that are happening in the world that are unpredictable. So I agree with these things. I love this. Increase food production, storage, and seeds. Build a tribe of like-minded folks who can share skill sets and resources. Beautiful. Joint ventures are coming, all kinds. Improve the terrain of your body to be healthier, stronger, and better immunity. You got that right. I love that. Let's talk here. This morning, Judy and I went to many Amish farms looking for fresh milk. Fantastic. We found an Amish farmer who sold milk, and he said, if you don't tell I sell milk, I won't tell you bought milk. That is beautiful. That's absolutely the most amazing. That made my day right there, Stephen. We have to support our farmers right now, all of them. Thank you. That was beautiful. And that fresh milk like that is so healthy for you. Here we go. I love the Amish. We have a number of communities here where we live. They are fabulous. I have connections with dairy and meat through them. Yes, thank you. We do. I appreciate that. In 2011, we opted to get our ham radio license to have access to emergency communications. And you can see mine right back there. It's an 897D. It's a Yazoo, and I love it. We have the largest female club or ham radio club in the country here in our tiny town of 800. That's right, we do. We have more women here that are licensed ham radio operators than men. And that was work that we did in 2011. And of course, number 3 would be build a greenhouse. It's a great mantra. Thank you for the boost to do that, Donald. That's really important. Greenhouses are going to be important. Now, if you don't know, I want to tell you, one of the hardest things that you can ever do is see people suffer or ask you for help and you can't help them. And I remember being a cop and seeing a child who was very injured in a car accident, asking me for help. And the feeling I got when I wasn't able to help her, as we're trying to get the jaws of life and the ambulance there, and just being with her while she was in that pain. I don't know how much pain you guys have seen in your life, but I know you've seen some where that feeling of helplessness comes up and you don't know what to do. One of the greatest things that we can do as humanity is feed people. And if you have extra to share with people, or you have your harvest where you know your family is going to be safe, the feeling of stress lowers so much. Because I'm going to ask you right now, what would you do as a parent? Right now, what would you do to feed your children? If they were hungry and you had nothing in the cupboard, what would you do to feed your children? You don't want to answer that question. You want your cupboards to be full. And there is right now in the article, if you read that Bloomberg article, it's imperative that you do, because the numbers are out there. This year, this year around the world, 132 million people are going to be in some sort of famine. And the deaths that they say, Bloomberg says, is that there could be more deaths from starvation than there could be from the COVID virus in the first place. I want to repeat that. It's in that Bloomberg article right there. They are saying there will be more deaths from starvation or famine than there was from the COVID virus in the first place. And whether that offends you or not, it says something about what you need to do. It's not just about this year, you need to pack some food, and then the next year, and then the next year, and then the next year. God bless the child who has his own. You want to start that garden. Okay, so if you don't have energy, technology does not matter. If you do not have food, your brain will not work, nor your body. Grand solar minimum is real. Growing days are decreasing quickly. Build a greenhouse or move south, or both. And thank you for that. Here, so true, Donald. We have a greenhouse and Judy uses it for feral cats that she feeds. Well, those feral cats right now keep those mice out of your garden over there. Judy, I think there's something special about you already. I can't wait to meet you one day. It's going to happen. I'm going to meet you and Stephen. All right. So don't be an island. Create your tribe of like-minded people to work together, create together, save together, protect each other. Know that you have to be strong to not try to save the world when the things get worse. This gives a whole new perspective, the haves and the have-nots. Yes, it's the we haves and we works together. That's what's really important. And I think that is going to be very important coming up. Whoa, I bet the same will happen in the U.S. At least I hope so. I'm not sure what I missed there, but great point about not greenhouses supplies not being available later. Wow. Yes, that's the whole point. Right now, there's a window of opportunity. Local, even neighborhood security details will be highly valuable. Yes, we have to be having each other's back. I like this. Have supplies, get trained, practice. I know what you mean, girlfriend. Do we realize that the Amish are ready for the future? Yes, they are. They are absolutely ready for the future. We can learn a lot from the Amish way of living. Yes, it's simple. It's very, very loving and kind. It's humility and grace towards the earth, great gratitude towards the earth. That was really nice. Yes, get trained. Super important, cause when the event happens, it's tough to draw discomfort in task versus practice, just like the fire drills of old. That's right. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about one of those things about getting trained. Tomorrow we're going to talk about, CPR and first aid and who knows it. And do you have somebody who's a medical person in your group? There are things you need to put in place right now that can help your future be a little more easier. Now, I know there's some of you that could be out there going, man, you guys are talking crap. That's not going to happen. Well, if you take a look at Ray Dalio or any economist that you speak about right now, any one of them, it will tell you exactly where. Here it is. Here's the article. Let's see. Hunger is threatening to kill more people than COVID this year. And you can look at the Bloomberg article. It's already in this. It's in the feed right here that she put there. So it's down below for those of you on Facebook. The Mormons are some of the most ready people ever, and I love their system. I will tell you, if the Mormons, the way they do food, the way they do everything, I love it. Vickie Helm, you are so on. You have a heart that is plentiful. Helping others is what true Christians do. Thank you. Thank you. I do my best to do that. I don't bat 1,000. And here we go. Provident Living, Church of Jesus Christ, Food Storage Home Program. Thank you, Karen. So here's this event. Oh, thank you. Come on. There we go. This event is real and it's happening and it's gaining momentum. There will be a point where we will feel the full impact of the grand solar minimum. We as the whole human race on earth, this has happened before and will happen again. Unfortunately, we lose the stories of our histories. The familial generational disconnect is far more destructive to human survival than we understand. Yes, I know we're so into new technology, and sometimes it's going to be like, the future is going to be new technology and old, like Amish tech and technology together. I think having a farm and having an online business is what a lot of people are going to be doing in the future. They're going to take that backyard, they're going to turn it around, they're going to make it into their business. Those people are going to have businesses in their garage, businesses in their home, farming in their backyard. What is it that you want to share with these people? If you could give them 3 pieces of advice, what would you share with them? And we've gotten so many great people sharing what they did or loved and what they do. And I love that right here. Scott says, I like their clothing too, the Amish, that is. Yes, they have the definition of comfortable clothing. I love that too as well. Jobs will come back to the U.S. Invest in the companies that are bringing them back. Here's what I want to say about this, Stephen. I've thought about this a lot. And I know that these manufacturings are coming back to the United States, but the worker isn't. Most of these companies that are coming up, they are going to be just like what Ford and Detroit did when they let go of all the workers and they made all the factories robotic. So they need this much worker. And to me, the jobs that are going to come back to the U.S., all these manufacturing, they're going to get upgrades, they're going to get money investments, but they're going to be robotic, and they are not going to be the human worker is an endangered species right now. Some companies will need them, some won't. And even though we say the jobs will coming back, they didn't say that. They never said the jobs were coming back. They said manufacturing was coming back to the United States. Will it create some jobs? I think so. But instead of like 1,000, it'll be like, hi, we need 20 people. And we've got everything else in robotics. And I think the most important thing people can do right now is get some sort of income, side hustle, something that they're doing that are outside the jobs, because the jobs were set to shrink over this decade, regardless of the pandemic. And the pandemic just sped it up. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for small manufacturing from home. Like I can see products and services that are food-based, people's jellies, jams, and preserves being purchased by other people in the community, or their vegetable stands in the community at that point. I think the big money is going to be made online with online products and services. I think anybody who has a really good online business will see 7 figures. And if they invest well at the right time, like right now in certain things that Scott mentioned earlier, they can see big comebacks like that. But I think jobs will be, I don't know, that's an unknown. I hope that tons of jobs come back. I hope that does, but we have to ramp up and get those factories back up floating to where they need to be. Hey, Susie Q, I worked for United Airlines at one point in Salt Lake City. The Mormons are ready for anything. They really are. In fact, the Mormons are the fastest to any place that has a natural disaster. They're faster than anyone, and they're very humble about it. They don't have to brag all the time. I love that about them. They're just amazing. Yes, well-made, practical for the climate they live in. That's right. You want to get some of the stuff you need now. If you need tools or new garden tools, you might want to look at that. Yes, Stephen, as a family, we must be self-sufficient. As a country, we must be self-sufficient. Made in America. That's coming back, my friend. Made in America. But so is made in Italy, made in France, made in the UK. People are going to be very country-centric again about what is made where we are. And, we're going to go not only with made in America, but the campaign slogans of buy American or buy Italian, wherever you are, wherever you live, that's going to come back with a big slice of pie, big slice of apple pie. So let's see. I anticipate that those companies will be very different than the companies of old. We have to morph into what is needed now, local conscious companies. Yes, local conscious companies. Ryan, is this you, my friend? Hello, nice to see you on. Great that you're here. And if it's not, who is this? Who is this person saying hello to me? I just want to know. Let's see. Oh, it's Peter. Hi, Peter. Now, of course, it was you. Hi, Vickie. Hi, Peter. Nice to see you, my friend. Let's see. I just want to see Vickie in an Amish bonnet. Yeah, that's so not me. Yes, so true. That's got to be you. Let's see. What do we got right here? That's right. Manufacturing is coming back, not the jobs. Yep, both are true. Thank you. So looking here, Robin, lean manufacturing is another part. So it may not be as many jobs as may not be as many jobs as we think. Another thing, when we think about these things, lumber and materials, those are things that are going to be very high price. They're not going to be back. And some of the things you can get right now, but just like Scott said, if you need hiking boots, whatever's in inventory, I hope you guys find something. Maybe one could invest and own part of an AI robot and it will work on your behalf. I've heard of that. There's like these ice cream stores that are robotic and you get the ice cream cone, the robot does everything and you just collect the money. Instead of time sharing, it will be the Share a Robot program. That's one possibility. That's actually one really good possibility. I'll trade knitting goods for sewing. Just don't have the knack for that. Yeah, and I got to tell you, I remember when my grandmother taught me how to darn socks. And I remember thinking, I am never going to darn socks. I'm always going to have them. They're always going to be made. And now I'm thinking, wow, I really am glad I learned to darn socks. Can I do that? Yes, but you better have some needles and threads on your case, in your house. This ain't funny, Karen. Scott, if you can get Vickie to wear it, get a pic. No, this it's Peter Anton. Thank you for that. The Share a Robot Investment Group. That could happen. That could really happen. Here it is. This is a good one. I think everybody needs to do this. This is wise advice. Can you learn a trade? Yes. Everybody can learn a new trade. And, actually, I was thinking about that myself. What did I want to learn? And I came up with two things. I want to learn gunsmithing because, keeping your gun clean is always important. And I want to do bike repair of, just learning how to repair a bicycle. Because I ride so much, I think it's important that I would ride mine. Now, I want to talk about bicycling. Not only is it the best exercise ever, it helps you would not believe what bicycling will do. Bicycling helps with so much, and we'll talk about it tomorrow with Robin, but it also helps prevent certain diseases. It's just amazing what you can do with bicycling. So if you learn a trade, that is going to be really great. And I think if we get to the point where bicycling, I think, is going to start being a big mode of transportation as well. It's easy on the knees. I love it. It's really great. Unless you fall, then it's not quite so easy on the knees. But, otherwise, it's really great. I would be concerned the AI would be smarter than me and take over my house. Oh, God, that's funny. Okay. Let's see. Yes, Stephen, everyone will need a trade for themselves or to share or barter with others. So here's the thing. I don't know when you're seeing this. I don't know what's happened in your life when you're watching this. I just know that a bunch of wonderful people have given you so much advice in this video that it would benefit you to watch it again and to write down some of these ideas. I hope that you watch this video before something happens. I hope that you still have time to make something happen and that you have the supplies and things that you need to create the life that you want. And I hope that if you don't, you have the ingenuity of being able to figure it out, the creativity, the originality, the ingenuity to figure out how to make it happen, even if you don't. Figure out what you can do. So let me tell you something. I learned something very, very deep this last August. I learned that money is great if there's stuff to buy. If there's not stuff to buy, or if they're out, it doesn't matter how bad Scott wants to have shoes, or whether Scott is willing to pay $200, $300, $500, or $1,000 for a pair of shoes. If there are no shoes, there's nothing to buy. And that means if there's nothing to buy, what are you going to do? You have to create the skills to make that happen. And right now, food is endangered. They already know people are going to hit famine right now. There are countries that are in famine right now. The deal is it hasn't hit you yet. Or if it has, I'm so sorry, you need to go figure out how to get some food in really fast or grow it. And maybe we'll do a show on that. But whatever it is, you just want to know that your worth isn't the money you make. It's your ingenuity, your creativity, and your originality. That's what I have for you today on the Coffee Break Show. God bless us all. See you later. Mwah! Peace out.